Welcome to Smart English Stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English stories. Have you ever thought, "I'll never be fluent in English"? Many people feel this way. They look at people speaking English so well and think, "I could never do that." But here's a secret: everyone started from zero. Even the best English speakers once knew nothing about this language. I remember my friend Mia. Mia grew up in a small town, and nobody there spoke English. She knew only a few words, like hello and thank you. But Mia had a big dream. She wanted to work in a big city where she would need to speak English every day. Mia didn't have a teacher or expensive books. She didn't even have much time, but she didn't give up. Her story is what makes me believe anyone can go from zero to fluent. Mia would sit in her room, watching English videos. At first, she understood nothing. The words flew by so fast, but she watched again and again. Slowly, she started to hear a word here, a word there. One day, she understood a full sentence. That sentence made her so happy she felt like she was on top of the world. Now, you might be thinking, how did she go from zero to fluent, and could I do the same? I'm going to tell you exactly what Mia did. But let me first ask you, do you believe in hard work? Because if you do, then you already have the first step to fluency. As Mia kept learning, she started seeing how important English was. She noticed how it helped her talk to people from different countries, watch movies without reading subtitles, and understand new ideas. And she realized, if I learn this language, I will have so many more choices in life. Every time she felt tired, she thought about this. She knew that learning English wasn't just about words, it was about her future. I'll tell you something interesting. Mia never memorized long lists of words. She learned English by using it, by talking to herself in English, and by repeating phrases she heard in songs or shows. She didn't worry if she made mistakes. In fact, she loved making mistakes because she knew that each mistake taught her something new. One day, Mia's friend, Ava, asked her, "Why are you working so hard to learn English?" "We don't even need it here." Mia looked at her and said, "Ava, it's not just about English. It's about being able to do things I never thought I could do. Every word I learn makes me feel like I can dream bigger." Ava didn't understand, but Mia knew she was on the right path. Mia found little ways to practice every day. She would describe everything around her in English. If she saw a flower, she would say to herself, "This is a beautiful flower." When she walked in the park, she would talk to herself in English. "The sun is shining, the trees are green," she would say, even though no one else was listening. It was like she had a small English world in her mind. One evening, something amazing happened. she was at a store and a foreigner asked her for directions. Normally, Mia would have been too shy to answer. But this time, she spoke up. Her English wasn't perfect, but she spoke clearly and helped the person find their way. After that, Mia felt like she could do anything. Now, why should you listen to Mia's story? Because it shows us that anyone, even if they start from zero, can learn English. You don't need a special talent or a lot of money. You just need the belief that it's possible. And here's a tip Mia learned along the way. When you feel like giving up, remember why you started. She always thought of her dream job and how she wanted to live in a place where she could meet people from all over the world. That dream kept her going, even when things got tough. If you keep reading, you'll find out Mia's biggest secret. It's something simple, something everyone can do, but very few people know about it. Trust me, it will surprise you. Mia's journey had ups and downs. Sometimes she felt alone because no one around her was learning English. She would sit alone in her room, sometimes even cry, because it felt so hard. But every tear made her stronger. She used her emotions to push herself forward. She knew that one day she would look back and be proud. Mia didn't have a teacher, but she learned to be her own guide. She made a promise to herself every day. She would do one small thing to learn English, no matter what. Some days, she read a few pages of an English book. Other days, she listened to English songs and tried to understand the words. She even wrote down her thoughts in a notebook, using simple English sentences. At first, her sentences were short. Like today is a good day, or I feel happy, but with time, her sentences grew longer, and her confidence grew stronger. One day, Mia tried something new. She looked in the mirror and spoke English to herself. It felt strange, and she laughed at her own reflection. But she kept going. She would say, "Hello, my name is Mia." "I am learning English then," she would smile and say, "You are doing great, Mia." This small mirror practice became her favorite part of the day. It made her feel like she was speaking to a friend, and that friend was herself. As days turned into months, Mia's English started to improve. She could understand more words, speak with more confidence, and even watch simple English shows without subtitles. But still, she didn't stop. She wanted to be fluent, and she knew the journey was not over yet. One evening, her family had a visitor from another country. They all sat together, talking and laughing, but Mia stayed quiet. She listened carefully, trying to understand their conversation. And then, the visitor looked at her and said something in English. Her heart beat fast. She was nervous, but she didn't let fear stop her. She took a deep breath and replied in English. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. The visitor smiled and gave her a thumbs up, and Mia felt a wave of happiness. She had just spoken English in front of everyone. It felt like a small victory, and she was proud. This moment taught her something important: mistakes don't matter. What matters is the courage to try. From that day, Mia stopped worrying about being perfect. She started to see English as her friend, not something to be afraid of. And every time she made a mistake, she would smile and say, "I am learning." As she continued her journey, she realized that English was not just a language. It was a bridge to new people, new ideas, and a new life. Mia wanted to travel, to learn about the world, and to make friends everywhere she went. And she knew that English would help her do all these things. Now, if you're reading this, you might be thinking, can I do this too? And the answer is yes, you can. Just like Mia, you can start from zero and go all the way to fluent. All you need is the belief that you can do it. One night, Mia looked at the stars and thought about her journey. She remembered all the times she felt like giving up, all the tears and all the hard work. And then she smiled. She knew that every small step had brought her closer to her dream. English had become a part of her, and she felt ready for whatever life would bring. But her story doesn't end here. In fact, this is just the beginning. Because learning a language is a journey, not a destination. And as Mia would say, the best way to reach your goal is to keep going, one step at a time. So, what about you? Are you ready to start your journey? Remember, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be brave. And every time you practice, you are one step closer to becoming fluent. If Mia could do it, so can you. Take that first step today. And remember, I'll be here with more stories to inspire and guide you. Mia kept learning every single day. Some days were easy and other days were hard. But she learned something very important: even small steps make a difference. She knew that each word, each sentence, and each try was taking her closer to her goal. One day, Mia decided to challenge herself. She went to a cafe where a group of people were talking in English. She felt nervous, but she knew she had to try. She ordered her coffee in English, speaking clearly and with confidence. It was a simple order, but it made her feel strong. She realized, I am not the same person I was before. I am learning. I am growing. After she got her coffee, she sat down at a table. She listened to the people around her. At first, she could only understand a few words. But slowly, her ears caught more and more. She heard new words, phrases, and ideas. She felt like her mind was opening up to a new world. Mia wanted to talk to them, but she was still a little shy. So, she decided to do something different. She took out her notebook and started writing what she heard. She wrote down words she didn't know, planning to look them up later. She wrote sentences she liked and phrases that sounded nice. She was turning English into her own. Then, something wonderful happened. One of the people in the cafe noticed her writing and came over. "Are you learning English?" he asked kindly. Mia felt shy, but she nodded. "Yes, I am," she replied softly. The person smiled and said, "That's amazing. Keep going. You're doing great." Mia felt a wave of happiness. She knew that her hard work was paying off. She could feel it in the way she spoke, the way she understood, and the way she was no longer afraid. The more Mia learned, the more she realized how much English could change her life. She could talk to new people, read books from other countries, and understand different cultures. She knew that English was opening doors for her, and she was excited for the future. Now, I want to tell you something important. When you're learning, you may feel like it's slow or that you're making mistakes. But remember, each small effort counts. Every single word you learn is one step closer to fluency. Mia didn't learn English overnight. It took time, patience, and a lot of courage. And she wanted others to know that they could do it too. That's why she always shared her story with people who felt like giving up. She would tell them, "Just keep going. You're stronger than you think." One day, Mia's friend Ava came to her and said, "Mia, you've changed. You're so confident now." Mia smiled and replied, "It's not just about learning English. It's about believing in yourself." Ava looked at her, a little surprised, and Mia continued, "When you believe you can do something, nothing can stop you." This was Mia's biggest lesson: believing in herself. She had started from zero, with no teacher, no special help, and no experience. But she had one thing that mattered most: her belief that she could learn. So, what about you? Do you believe you can go from zero to fluent? Because if you do, then you're already on the right path. And if you don't, just take one small step each day. Soon, you'll see how much you've grown. Mia's story is a reminder to all of us. She started with nothing, just a small dream and a big heart. But look at her now, she's living her dream, and so can you. Mia continued to grow and learn, and every little victory made her feel alive. She celebrated each new word she understood, each time she made someone smile with her English, and each step that brought her closer to her dream. Her life felt full of purpose, and English became more than just a skill. It became a part of who she was. One evening, Mia was walking home after a long day. She looked up at the sky and felt grateful. She remembered those early days when she was just starting and felt lost. Now, She felt a sense of peace and strength she had never felt before. It was like English had helped her discover a new part of herself, a brave part. But even with all her progress, Mia knew that learning never truly ended. She still made mistakes, and she still had moments of doubt. But now, those moments didn't scare her. Instead, they inspired her to keep pushing forward. She knew that each mistake was a lesson, and each challenge was an opportunity. Mia decided to give herself one more challenge to speak in front of a group. The thought made her nervous, but she was ready to face it. She found a local English-speaking group that met once a month. They welcomed new learners, and everyone was there to practice and learn. She signed up, feeling both excited and scared. On the day of the meeting, Mia's heart was pounding. She walked into the room, and she saw people from different backgrounds, all gathered with one goal to learn and share. When it was her turn, she stood up and introduced herself. "Hello, my name is Mia, and I am learning English," she said, her voice a little shaky but full of courage. As she spoke, she saw people smiling, nodding, and listening. They understood her journey because they were on the same path. She shared her story, her struggles, and her small victories. And by the time she finished, she felt like she had gained a whole new family, a family of learners, just like her. After the meeting, one of the group members came up to Mia and said, "Thank you for sharing your story. It reminded me why I started learning English." Too, Mia felt a warmth in her heart. She realized that by sharing her journey, she was not just helping herself, she was helping others too. Mia's story teaches us all a valuable lesson. Learning is about more than just reaching a goal. It's about the journey, the people you meet, the lessons you learn, and the strength you build within yourself. So, if you ever feel like giving up, remember Mia's story. Remember that it's okay to start from zero, and it's okay to make mistakes. What matters is that you keep going. You never know who you might inspire along the way. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more stories like this. It's my way of sharing these moments with you to help you on your journey. And in the comments, tell me what's one thing you're doing to improve your English. I'd love to hear your story.